Today it is time for the most sinister Chronically Online Girl video to ever exist, and it's Chronically Online Girl explains Chronically Online Girl lore. It's me. It's me explaining my lore for once. I know. Thank you so much, Pretty Litter, for sponsoring today's video. As you guys know, I have two beautiful cats, Clementine and Cowboy. And when my cats are healthy, they're happy. And that, in turn, makes me happy. But since I cannot read their minds, even though I wish I could read their minds, believe me, I wish, I don't always know when they're not feeling their best. Helping me keep tabs on their health is just one of the reasons why I love using Pretty Litter. If you didn't know, Pretty Litter is a health monitoring litter that indicates potential health issues. It helps monitor your cat's urine for acidity and alkalinity levels outside of the average range. Pretty Litter is developed by veterinarians. Having two cats means that the litter box does in fact smell like a litter box sometimes, okay? With Pretty Litter, I have noticed how much better my house smells. Having the health monitor of Pretty Litter gives me so much peace of mind. And also, literally getting it delivered right to my house is so convenient. And my cats like it, meaning that I really like it. Pretty Litter helps keep tabs on my cat's health. And also keeps odors down. Go to prettylitter.com/Nicole and use code Nicole to save 20% off your first order and also get a free cat toy. Do you want to say thank you, Pretty Litter? He's still learning. He's not that good at English. Thank you, Pretty Litter. I have been dreading making this video because for some reason, I can hear my voice on end for hours. I have no issue to hearing myself speak. You know that whole thing, like people are like, oh, I hate hearing my voice like on recording or anything. Not me, not I. Like I used to, I definitely used to hate the sound of my own voice. But if you start doing this as a career, especially for a few years, you either have to get used to it or quit. And I chose to love it a lot. There's something so humbling about printing this, I think it's 34 by 26 poster of my own face at CVS, having to pick it up, be like, it's for me. Them even being like, oh, do you want to open up the box to see if it's the right ones? I'm like, I don't even care. I would actually prefer if I accidentally got someone else's order rather than getting this. It's actually my own worst nightmare to talk about myself. I know it may be really, really hard to believe. I really struggle talking about myself. Somebody's watching this, like one of my close friends, and they're like, bitch, you've never shut up about yourself. I was recently going through all of my text messages that I have forgotten to respond to, and it's all of my friends. It's a conversation where I'm like, hey, how are you? And they answer. And then they're like, how are you? And then me not answering. Like, I swear to God, there was at least like 15 of those texts, which is about how many people I know in real life. End of sentence. So to make a whole video about myself, it's a lot. But I did hit 1 million subscribers, so thank you so much. When I started my channel, when I was like a kid, I just wanted to make videos, which is what everyone fucking says, but I looked up to YouTubers. Like I was literally a fangirl. I'm a fangirl first and foremost, and a creator second. So for me to hit 1,000 subscribers a few years ago, I was like, whoa, like I can't believe people actually want to watch this shit. Like damn, I really gaslit all these people into watching me. That's crazy. But then to hit like 10,000, I was like, whoa, it's getting serious. Like, this is getting real. Maybe I can stop babysitting soon as a job. Chipotle, not quite yet, but babysitting, yes. And then I hit 100,000 subscribers. I was like, oh, I wasn't thinking we would go this far. Like maybe 10 years time, 200,000, 300,000, 500,000, a million, completely off the table. That's why it is still so difficult for me to even process that number, because I truly, genuinely never expected it. I was never like, I'm gonna have 1 million subscribers, I'm gonna have the gold plaque. When I got the 100,000 subscriber plaque, I was like, this is my only plaque. This is the best plaque I'm ever gonna get in my entire life. And I think that I have a fucking gold one coming in the mail is actually unreal. I would have never imagined for this to be my career. I never would have imagined like this silly fucking wall pushing me to getting to 1 million subscribers. Never, genuinely never. And I really do mean that. So much so, like my mother keeps telling me, she's like, I really did not believe in you. Everyone has like really cute stories of like their parents being like, I always knew you were gonna be successful. And my mom flat out was like, no, I was really worried about you. I was like, that's why you need to finish college. And so she's like, I really did not think that anything like this was gonna come out of you. So it wasn't just me who didn't believe in myself, okay? It was my mother too. and don't even ask me about my father. We'll get into that. I just want to say thank you. And I'm so grateful. And if I wasn't on as much Prozac as I am, I would be crying. I just physically can't. I'm so eternally grateful that this is my life, and I will never, ever, ever take it for granted. And if you guys suddenly all unfollow me, that'll be okay. It's also coming up on the almost 1 year anniversary of me starting Chronically Online Girl, which was Frenemies. I decided to make Chronically Online Girl Explains Frenemies, and that video almost never came out because the audio got messed up in it. And so I was gonna trash that that video. And so this series would have never been a thing at all. But anyway, today I decided to go into some of my lore. Some of you guys may know a lot of my lore, some things I have never shared before. And especially if you're new and only know me from the Chronically Online Girl series, here's my lore. My whole 24, almost 25 years of life. Turned 25 in like 2 weeks. And when I started this, I just turned 24. It's crazy. Honestly, on my way to go pick these up, I was like thinking of a backup plan of like what I would say to them if they were gonna ask like, why did I print these photos out? Because sometimes they do ask. Sometimes they're like, oh yeah, you're the one with the weird photos. I was gonna be like, oh, this is for my sister's funeral. This is my sister's funeral photos. Like, we're gonna put these up at her funeral so that they would feel really fucking bad if they try to make fun of me. Because, you know, sometimes you have like memorial photos at a funeral. Like, they could be. This is me as a very young tot in Poland. I was not born in Poland. I was actually born in America. I'm the only person in my entire family that has been born in America. If you guys didn't know, my mom is from Poland and my dad is from Iran. People get surprised by that. Whenever I say I'm Polish, people are like, I thought you were Iranian. And whenever I say I'm Iranian, people are like, I thought you were Polish. But a lot of babies like me were either conceived or were created because of Denmark. So thank you, Denmark. Thank you for creating me, Denmark. I don't know any Farsi, however, Polish was my first language. I've been to Poland at least 5 times, under 10 times, I think. And this is just one of the little memories. I like had this notorious like little Dora bowl cut. This is literally Draw My Life. This is just modern day Draw My Life. I had this like little Dora bowl cut with the bangs and everything. So when I got my shag again, I was like, oh my God, I'm coming back to my roots, just like in a little edgier way. I'm a Virgo. I was born on September 10, 1999, not 2000. Don't get it fucking twisted. Prince wrote an entire song for me. It's crazy, 1999. We'll get into Prince soon. However, as a child, I was always called a porcelain doll because I was so goddamn pale and my hair was so dark. Now I have freckles all over my face, but as a child, I just like had completely clear skin, and people thought that my mother had adopted me because my mom is not like a pale, dark-headed woman. So anyway, that's me as a kid. Let's fast forward to like when I was like 8 years old, because I don't remember anything from when I was a kid. I'm not fucking around. When I was like 8, I cracked my head open in London, England. It's a big argument between me and my cousin over what really happened to me that day. We were playing. I fell backwards. I hit my head on the concrete. She also had her Holy Communion in like 2 days. So for the next 2 days, like random people were just like dabbing the back of my head with like a napkin because my head was literally bloody. I think when I cracked my head open, something deeply sinister and evil shifted within me, because I think that's when I decided like, oh my God, I have to be a YouTuber when I grow up. This was also the summer that I started playing Animal Crossing. So I just feel like it all makes sense. Before me cracking my head open, I was meant to be like a veterinarian. That was something I really wanted to be. I really wanted to be a singer growing up, but then one of my cousins had told me that I can't be a singer because every single time that the radio plays my song, I have to be in their studio to sing that song live. And so I gave up all my dreams of being a singer. Anyway, I gave up all my dreams when I cracked my head open because something deeply psychologically fucked me up and was like, you're gonna make videos for a living. Anyway, it came to fruition. I was also in band. I spent most of my time in middle school being on Tumblr, being a fucking freak, making memes, and also in band. I played the flute. I have this like one specific photo of me as a kid playing the flute. I remember the very first time that a boy had ever called me sexy in the comment section of me playing the flute. And I was like, me? I'm sexy? Band was a very big part of my life because I thought that that was like my calling. Like I thought I was gonna be in fucking band for the rest of my life. Also learning how to play like telephone on the flute, game changer. That also was like a big part of my childhood, was Telephone by Lady Gaga. I'm not joking. I would sit in the basement on her computer all the time and just rewatch the Telephone music video by Lady Gaga and Beyonce. Ever since that, I've been like deeply obsessed with music videos and also the Illuminati. I would watch conspiracy theory videos all the time about the Illuminati, scare the absolute shit out of myself, and also watch a lot of Webkinz videos. It's like where people would have Webkinz and then they would talk and they would be like holding the Webkinz and they would like maneuver the head and be like, hey guys, it's me, Creamy, and today I'm gonna be showing you my chapstick collection. I'm not fucking around because that was me, because I had 3 Webkinz. Their names were Creamy, Allie, and Cheese. So I had an account called Creamy Alley Cheese. I was so obsessed with YouTube through Webkinz and also the Leave Britney Alone video. I found out about that video from a friend at school and that instantly got me hooked. And that's where I was watching a whole bunch of like stop motion videos, also music video recreations. It's like when copyright was like not a thing. That literally took up all of my time while I was home. And eventually I was like, I want to do that. I want to make videos. So I tried to pivot away from Creamy Alley Cheese because I was like, guys, I really need to make a change. Like, I had an announcement video. I was like, I'm gonna have like my own channel. Like, it's gonna be all about me, like the true authentic me. And that's where I went by Surfing Amanda. That was the time of the internet where you're like, okay, stranger danger. To be my me and authentic self, called myself Surfing Amanda. Number one, had never went surfing in my entire life. Number two, my name was not fucking Amanda. But that was me, Surfing Amanda. That'd be like my drag name now, Surfing Amanda. That's like the deeper, more sinister side of me. Like, there's Nicole Rafiee, there's Nikki Nasty, chronically online girl, Surfing Amanda. She still lives like deep down inside. This is actually the most accurate depiction of Surfing Amanda. That was like my first vlog camera. God, it meant the world to me. I also had this like little necklace with a whale on it. I also went by Fail Whale. Fucking loved whales for some reason. Never talked about whales ever again. Anyway, this YouTube obsession then brought me to FouseyTube, obviously. I cannot express how big of a fucking fangirl I was of FouseyTube. I was FouseyTube's #1 fan. I'm not joking. I made enemies, I made friends, I made lovers on FouseyTube Twitter. It was a really dark time in my life if you knew me back then. It was like the first merch that I had ever bought. I would write essays about him in school. I would be in his live chats all the time, like anytime that he noticed me. Eventually he followed me on Twitter, called into the Chicago radio station after praying in church really hard that I could have another interaction with Yusef. FouseyTube, you guys don't know him like I do. And that is when he asked me to marry him live on air. And I was like 12 or 13, and it was the most impactful moment of my entire life.
Let's go to Nicole joining us. Nicole, you're on the rise.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so Yusef, I am an OG Tubian.
You guys are the best, and thank you so much.
I am so happy.
Hey, Nicole.
Yeah?
Trinity or Rose, did you walk down the aisle with me?
Oh my god, yes! Oh my gosh, if this is an opportunity, yes, I would.
Yeah. All right, we'll find you a mom. We'll find you a mom so we can convert you to a Muslim.
At that very moment, I knew I was destined for greatness. I also knew that I was like super fucking powerful, and that if I wanted anything in this life, if I tried hard enough, I could make it happen. If I prayed hard enough, I can make it happen. If I manifested hard enough, I can make it happen. If I scammed hard enough, I could make it happen. And that is basically the theme for the rest of my life. At least that's what it feels like. This is also around the time of the infamous Lush story. If you guys heard that story before, I don't give a rat's ass. I talk about it on my podcast. Make sure to listen to it. Talk Nasty Me. It comes out every other Monday with my best friend Jake. Okay. If I scammed my way hard enough, if I tried hard enough, I could get anything I wanted out of this life. I like felt like I had the cheat code to life at like the ripe age of like 12 or 13 or whatever I was. I was so obsessed with Lush. But I had no money because I was a kid. I loved Lush so much, and there was no in-person Lushes anywhere, so I would sit and watch Lush bath bomb review videos for hours and hours and hours a day, on top of my like Webkins videos, on top of like Super Mac 18 and Gen X Pen, on top of like Shane Dawson, I know. And I was like, God, I really want Lush. And somebody made a video about how to get free Lush. And they're like, yeah, if you just tell them that you had like an allergic reaction to something, they'll send you free stuff. And also if you like tell them that one of your products got damaged, they'll also send you free stuff. This was the early days of online shopping. I really am biting myself in the ass because I'm now on Lush's PR list. But anyway, I would email Lush and tell them that I never received my product or I got an allergic reaction, and they would be like, okay, what's your order number? I'm like, I don't have one. And somehow I got put on Lush's PR list. And that means the world to me. And I know it's very incriminating for me to keep bringing this story up, but it's just too fun. And it just shows what kind of person I really am deep down to my core. It wasn't until I got obsessed with Orange Is the New Black later on in life that I realized, oh my God, this is illegal, because that's literally why Lorna is in jail. Anyway, growing up, I also had like a bunch of fun locations to film in and a bunch of like fun stories to talk about, because I would just play in rich people's houses all day, especially in the summers, because my mom was a cleaning lady. And that's how I became friends with like a bunch of senior citizens at a very, very young age. That's why I love bird watching. I would sit there, I would watch TV shows with them, I would watch Full House, I would brush their cats, I would brush their dogs for them. It was great. I had a good time. That gave me a lot of free time, especially in the summer, being an only child, only having a mom. Oh, I don't know if I got to that point yet. I didn't have a dad. My dad left. In the beginning of my YouTube videos, I actually used to make jokes oftentimes about like, oh, my missing dad, oh, my missing father, whatever. I'm not joking. I had to stop making those jokes because he reached out to me to my business email. If my dad is watching this, don't ever fucking reach out again. But that's why I don't make those jokes anymore. So Or they're very rare. They're very rare. But I had a lot of free time as a kid going to work with my mom, you know, when I wasn't doing child labor and dusting for her. I had all this free time to like be creative and I would read a lot and I would write a lot and I would draw a lot and I would do art a lot and I would also make videos. Like sometimes I would take my camera if I knew that nobody would be home that day and like film in their backyard or film in their like spare room. That's why I feel like YouTube is such like a coming home feeling for me because I've been doing this shit forever. I loved writing since forever. I would write the craziest stories, write the craziest scripts, write so much, honestly, as a child. Like, I was that annoying kid in elementary school that when the assignment was to write, like, a book, and, like, the page minimum was, like, 2 pages, I was like, I'm gonna write 17! And just like Olivia Rodrigo said, I can't say that I am a 10, but I am the girl I've always been. So when it came time to starting to, like, write all my videos again and talk about all the things that I'm obsessed about and make content about it, be goofing off in front of a camera, I was like, oh my God, this is like me as a kid. I stopped at some point in middle school because I remember a teacher pulling it up on the smartboard, like my videos, and I was like, all right, we're done here. I was so severely embarrassed. I was like, I can't do this. And that's when I like said goodbye to all like 300 of my subscribers. And I was like, farewell guys, it's been real. But I'm so sorry. I have to go. I was making skits. I made a fucking singing video to Pumped Up Kicks. I didn't find out what Pumped Up Kicks was about until like 5 years ago or something like that. That's another thing I was always. An indie girl. I was an indie bitch, all right? Something that a lot of people don't know about me, but I used to spend a lot of my summers with a family friend who's basically like an older cousin to me because she's also Polish, my best friend Danielle. And she lived in Queens, and so I would spend every summer pretty much for like a week at a time just staying with her. And since she was a little bit older than me, like she was basically like my into the cool stuff. And that's how I got into like Kate Nash, Regina Spektor, Arctic Monkeys. I remember at the time she had a friend who liked the Strokes, and she's like, the lead singer looks like a fucking rat. And I was like, yeah, he does. And then I met him. Anyway, and then I got a tattoo for like his band. Anyway, but those summers were like during my formative years because I had the influence of someone who was like older and cooler and a New Yorker. And that's where I got my music taste from. That's where I got my Tumblr obsession from. And even so much inspiration with YouTube because all we would do is sit and watch YouTube videos. And I just basically spent my young teenage years and tween years basically thinking about being creative while I was forming like myself and my personality. This is also my best friend Kaylee. I've been best friends with Kaylee for, oh my God, if it's been since the 7th grade. Oh my God. I think like 15, over 50. Oh my God. Wait, oh my God. Wait, holy fuck. Oh my God. Wait. I think we've been best friends for like 15 years. We met in middle school. We did everything together. We related on way too many things. We were way too personal with each other. But every single weekend we would go to the mall even if we didn't buy anything. And we would just like hang out in Barnes & Nobles, get a Rice Krispie treat from Starbucks. Kaylee is still my best friend to this day. We roomed together in college. That's like my fucking sister for life. It would not feel right if I did not mention her in this video because she is family. She spent so many holidays at my house. So much so like my family considers her like another daughter. The better one, the cooler one. They don't like me that much. Let's talk about my gluten-free phase. All right. Let's talk about being gluten-free. In the 8th grade, I was told that I had to be gluten-free. I had no idea what gluten was, but I was also told that I couldn't eat gluten, milk, soy, or eggs because I went to a doctor that gave me this test, which I now know is not like a real legitimate test, but I was in desperate need of answers. My mom and I were really trying to search any option for me. I grew up being in so much pain and every doctor was like, it's just growing pains. I had migraines. I had full body pain. There were some days I couldn't get out of bed. I've been seeking answers so much. Like I even went to CHOP Hospital here in Philadelphia. Anyway, got scammed by a doctor. Got told that I need to take all these tests, that I needed to go to all these therapies, that I had some sort of amplified pain syndrome, fibromyalgia. I needed to cut all these things out of my diet, gluten, milk, soy, eggs, change my diet literally overnight. Like I was told like if I would not change my diet that I would one day get stomach cancer, like that I had the highest, craziest test that they had ever seen in their entire life. That wasn't true. Basically being in pain was like my fucking personality trait because it's like all I knew because I was in pain constantly. So that's why I went gluten-free and I was for a long ass time. Like I was gluten-free for like over 6 years, I think. It wasn't until I accidentally had pasta and nothing happened to me that I was like, oh my God, I am not allergic to gluten. And me and my family, of course, at the time being like, of course she's allergic to gluten. Of course she has all these issues. A doctor said so. It came back on a test. And then for it to all not be true doesn't really help with my whole feeling like a scammer kind of thing. Anyway, so that's what I was known for. Like obsessive foodie tube. That bitch is always in pain. Can't eat gluten. She's on the internet way too much. So then my freshman year of high school, I was like, I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be one of the cool girls. I'm gonna join a sport. I've never done a sport in my entire life. I'm gonna give up playing the flute. I'm like leaving my little nerd days behind. I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna become a field hockey player. That's when I joined field hockey. It was terrible. My high school happened to be really, really, really good at field hockey, actually. And I happened to be really, really, really not good at field hockey. My coach was really scary. She called me a stupid fucking worm all the time. I met some of the best people in field hockey that I'm still friends with to this day. However, field hockey was very formative for me. And I realized that all those jokes about me being in love with my teammates was not a joke. Oh my. Next couple of years, I actually worked at Chipotle. It was my second job ever. My first ever job was Rita's Italian Ice, and I worked with this one guy who really, really liked me because I was Polish and he was Polish. And then he found out that I was half Middle Eastern, and he told me to go back to my own country. And then I got him fired because that's one thing about me. If you're a boy or a man, and if you fuck with me, I will not take it. And it is a threat. This is around the age where a lot of boys and men really start to not like me. I was the angry feminist and I didn't take shit. I know this may come as a shock to a lot of you guys because I've been saying for years like, oh, I worked at Chipotle. Chipotle was in fact Chipotle all along. I know. I was trying to protect myself. I didn't think that, you guys would ever guess where I worked. I did work at Chipotle for 4 years of my life, and I was the best onion peeler there was. I loved eating Chipotle so much because I was like, oh my God, gluten-free, that I was like, I needed to work there. It was a place where I loved tearing men down, getting men in trouble for being nasty. But regardless, some of my little best memories of being a teenager were at Chipotle. But all the men who work there are freaks and should die. Maybe. I didn't say that. So 2016, Prince dies. You're like, how is that relevant to the entire scheme of everything? I have this deep love and adoration for 80s music, the time period. If a movie or a show is set in the 80s, I eat that shit up. I think it's just nostalgic for me because my mom played it for me, whatever. Prince was played at my house, okay? Like my mom liked Prince. When Prince died, something deep in me switched. I don't know what it was. I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry. Something switched so severely in me that I was like, Prince is gonna become my entire life. Prince is gonna take over everything. I can't like something a normal amount. I have to be obsessed with it. Prince was then my hyperfixation for the next few years, which makes these like chronically online girl videos make sense because like I've always had to like something a lot, not a little bit, but a lot of it. This is me dressed up as Prince on Halloween. Obviously not in blackface. I love this man so much. The amount of merch and like memorabilia that I had, oh my God. I would genuinely cry over Prince dying often. Like I was inconsolable at times, sobbing to Prince. My favorite song of his, thank you so much for asking, is If I Was Your Girlfriend, but not the studio version, but the live version. This one. Very important to me. It's my dream to one day go to Paisley Park. Let's talk about my weed panic attack. A few months after Prince died, I was really struggling. No, I'm kidding. A few months after Prince died, I was struggling in a lot of reasons, but not because Prince died, but just other stuff in my life. And I was in a lot of physical pain. I was probably in the most physical pain that I've ever been in my entire life. Like I said, I always had this body pain my whole life. While working at Chipotle, I've never told this story before, but it's my lore. Me being like a fresh 17-year-old, I'm like at work talking about like, God, I'm in so much pain. Like this is the most pain I've ever been in my entire life. And a coworker is like, oh my God, have you heard of CBD? Like CBD is this like new cool thing. Like it will not get you high. My boyfriend's grandma uses it for pain. I can get you a little CBD capsule. And I was like, oh my God. I would love that. I would love to find some relief. Like, I'm telling you, this is the worst pain I've ever been in my entire life. A few weeks later, I'm in my bedroom taking a capsule of pure THC oil. I had a panic attack where I was 110% completely convinced that I was gonna die. Completely saw my life flash before my eyes. Like literally like in the movies, like I am watching every memory pass me. I genuinely, honestly felt like I was actually in hell. The scariest experience of my whole entire life. Far worse than Prince dying, truly. You know, people get bad highs sometimes. This was not a bad high. This was evil and sinister. That's the best way to put it. I get taken to the hospital, which of course they're like, are you trying to kill yourself? And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to kill myself. I'm in pain and I'm still high. I can't see a thing, like can't see anything. It would have been over 12 hours at this point. And I was like, I think I am still high. And the doctor was like, I think you are too. They test my urine to see if I got drugged. Comes back as it being pure THC. So I did not have CBD that day. I had to stay at the hospital the entire day. I was given a Valium and I was not the same person for a very, very long time after that. I would say I don't think I started to actually genuinely feel normal in my body again until like a year and a half later, until I got to like college. I was stuck in this state of derealization, depersonalization, whatever you want to call it. Valium messed me up, but also like just post panic attack. I have only ever had one full-fledged panic attack similar to that ever since, and it was not weed induced. Every single time that I have ever tried weed after that, which has not been many, I can probably count it on like one hand, it has just been a bad experience ever since then. So I just don't do it. Everyone's like, Nicole, smoke a little weed for OCD. Nicole, take a little weed for sleep. The demons will come and get me. I'm gonna go back into psychosis. When I talked about it back at work, a lot of people laughed at me and they were like, I want that experience. And I was really embarrassed about talking about this entire story about myself. It had taken such a ginormous toll on my mental and my physical health because I was quite literally stuck in this limbo of never feeling normal or feeling like life was ever gonna feel the same ever again, on top of dealing with like severe anxiety and depression after that. And honestly, really awful PTSD, because in that moment, I was 110% convinced I was gonna die. I cannot emphasize that enough. I knew I was gonna die. Like, I was like, this is it. This is the end. So I'm like, guys, yes, I did have a near-death experience. So me trying to help myself was my little fake near-death experience. I will say it genuinely shifted my outlook on life a lot after that. I was like, damn, I really can't fuck around because I could die at any point and I need to do the stuff that I want to do literally now. Like, there is no time to waste. Quite literally, like a week after this incident had all happened, and I vowed and swore to God and my mom I would never do a weed ever again. And I insisted to everyone that I'm not trying to take my own life, that I just wanted to feel better, which, by the way, I did. I was not in pain during that time. Just wanted to say. I already had tickets for a music festival where I saw J. Cole and Chance the Rapper and like the fucking 1975. It was also the night that Kim Kardashian got held up in Paris and Kanye West had to cancel his show midway through because of that. After that is when I really became obsessed with going to concerts because I just loved it so much. I'll spend money on my cats and I'll spend money on concert tickets because I love experiences and I love my cats more than anything. Also around this time, I started to get into lifting. I was like, I need to better my life. I need to better myself mentally. I need to better myself physically. I'd never stepped foot in a gym. I was really bad at field hockey. Remember, I had taken one CrossFit training class before field hockey as part of, like conditioning. I swear to God, I had that thing where your like kidneys are not doing well. What is it? Like rubociosis, something like that. I'm not joking. It changed me. It changed me for all these things were changing, life-changing. FouseyTube, life-changing. Weed, life-changing. Prince dying, life-changing. CrossFit, fucking life-changing. I was in the most severe pain ever and I was like, fitness is not for me. But then I got into weightlifting and that was like one of the best things for myself mentally. I was able to put on some weight after not eating for many, many months due to anxiety and depression, near-death experience, on top of this whole panic attack fiasco. And it honestly really changed my life and my confidence and how I saw myself. I was not a confident person prior to weightlifting. It was like the first time I ever felt confident in my body and I was like, oh shit, I can do this. Remember how I said that I would like scam my way through things? My mom had enough credit card points so she was able to get this like nice DSLR camera for free. And I started taking photos with this DSLR camera because I'm like, oh my God, I'm in my photographer era. Maybe one day I'll use this for YouTube, maybe. Word got around and a club at my high school that I was not a part of was like, hey, we're doing a community service trip soon to Chicago. We heard you have a camera. One of the girls on the trip can't go because she got caught having sex in the staircase and she got suspended. Would you like to go to Chicago for free? In exchange, just take photos. And so that's how I got to go to Chicago for free. In exchange, all I had to do was just take photos. I also lied at one point or another to my field hockey coach that I was like, I was not allowed to play field hockey anymore, like physically. I just couldn't do it. I fucking sucked ass, so I became the manager instead. I was a really bad fucking field hockey manager, let me just say that. So remember this whole like spiritual journey I was on after like almost dying from a weed? I was like, oh my God, I need to do everything I've ever wanted to do in life, which included being in a musical. So I was in Bonnie and Clyde at my high school, and in my area, we have this thing called the Freddie Awards. It's like the Tony Awards, but for high schoolers, and they do this big performance on stage, and I'm just like in the audience, and I see this guy on stage dressed up as the UPS man from Legally Blonde, and he has a beard. And I'm like, what kind of milk are you drinking? Holy fuck. I also became vegan recently, okay, spiritual journey. And I was like, this is the cutest boy I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, he's wearing the shortest little shorts ever, and he has a beard. And I said to my friend who was sitting next to me, I'm gonna marry that guy one day. And so then I found him on Instagram, because if I want something, I will get it, okay? If there's one thing about me, I'm gonna strive, I'm gonna manifest, I'm gonna scam. Found him on Instagram, slid in his DMs, had never ever seen Legally Blonde the musical, and I said, bend and Snapchat, and he is now my boyfriend of 7 years. Ladies, if you want something, go and get it. I know it's a real big shock to a lot of people. You have a boyfriend? Wow. How could somebody love you? We've been long distance for most of our relationship, considering that literally a few months after we met, I was going off to Temple University and he was going to North Carolina State, but we made that shit work. I became an RA at college. That's the fun part, is that I know that there are people who hate me from college because I was their RA. I'm sorry if I made you go to a fucking stupid meeting. I was forced to do that. I wanted a free room and free board, okay? I know it's not scamming your way through college to try and get free room and board by, you know, like literally working. But while doing the Chipotle college tuition program that they had at the time, on top of being an RA, I was like, oh my God, I'm queen scammer. On top of that, I also started my YouTube channel my sophomore year of college when I finally had my own room, and I was like, yes, this is my time to become a YouTuber. And that little camera that I stole from my mom that she got from having enough credit card points, sorry mom, I used it to make YouTube videos in my little room. And my very first video was a skincare routine. While being an RA, I did meet my best friend Jake, who's also my co-host on the podcast. Jake and I have been through some shit together a lot. And for some reason, when COVID happened, he just kept hitting me up. Like, he just kept wanting to talk to me. Like, what does this kid want from me? But I would answer his calls and we would talk, and we're like, damn, this is kind of fun and easy talking to you. That's where our podcast was born during COVID. Also, something that I documented a lot while on YouTube was my mom having breast cancer and endometrial cancer at the same damn time. During COVID, like literally 2 months into lockdown, finding out about that. One of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with in my entire life. Like, she's good now, she's cancer free, yay. I'm extremely close to my mom. I really, really am. And so going back, living at home with her, watching her go through everything, becoming her caretaker while also going through my last year of college, very hard. On top of that, I just wanted to be a fucking YouTuber. Somehow at this time, with my mom being sick and COVID, I was making like 2 videos a week. Genuinely, I have no idea how I was physically doing that. And during chemotherapy, unfortunately, our cat of like 17 and a half years, that's important, that's crucial. I was like literally calling the vet when I thought my cat was about to die. And I was like, yeah, he's 17 and a half. And the guy is like repeating it and putting it in his computer. He's like, okay, 17 years old. I was like, 17 and a half. It was so incredibly lonely in our house without Missy. A few weeks later, I was like, I'm not ready to get another cat. I'm not ready to go through that pain again. But it was so extremely lonely in our house with my mom going through chemotherapy, the pain of isolation. I just decided to go to an open house one day. Just one morning, just decided to go to an open house. And that's when I got Clementine, where I adopted her. Why isn't Cowboy on the wall? Why isn't Cowboy on the wall? Cowboy is a very good boy, okay? I got Clementine during one of the hardest points of my entire life. I got Cowboy at one of the best points of my entire life, okay? Not saying he isn't a core memory or isn't a part of my lore, but Clementine came at a part of my life where I really needed her. And she has been the best little lady ever since. Wait, hold on, where is she? She is truly like the most important thing to ever happen to me. I can't believe that you actually came out of me. Like, I actually gave birth to you. Myself. Say something. Yeah, Clementine is so extremely important to me. She has helped me through one of the darkest times of my life. Without her, I'm not fucking around. I don't know if I could do it. Sometimes when life was getting really bad, really bad, I was like, who would take care of Clementine? Like, what would happen to Clementine? Who would be there for her? She was very important to me. Ow! As soon as I graduated college, which was December 2020, I graduated a semester early because I was like, there's no goddamn way that I'm paying for online school during lockdown, like full tuition. So I took community college classes online during the summer. Highly recommend. The very last day that I had college was also the very last day of my mom's chemotherapy. And at that point, I was like, oh my God, I am now a full-time YouTuber. Like, this is my job. Like, this is actually what I get to do. I graduated in media studies and production. And so I quite literally am using my degree. It's fucking crazy. Even though chemotherapy had ended, that did not mean that all the procedures and everything had ended for my mom. She still had a long way to go, but I really noticed my mental health starting to suffer. I was like, why? Like, I should be excited. I should be happy. This should be the best time of my life. That's when I found out I had OCD. Started going to therapy, did get diagnosed with OCD. A lot of things in my life started to make sense. I also got diagnosed with PTSD, not just from the weed fiasco, which came to explain a lot of my physical symptoms of anxiety were actually just physical symptoms of PTSD and OCD manifesting themselves, which would explain a lot of the body pain and the headaches and migraines and such. And so it felt very full circle. It felt like my life was finally starting to make sense for me. After a lot of work on my mental health with therapy and medication, I was like, I'm finally ready to move into my own place. Like, I am finally ready to get the fuck out of my house. And so in February 2022, I moved into this apartment. This is in my bedroom. This whole entire wall is in my bedroom. My bed is right there. I get to stare at this wall every single night when I go to bed. I do like to show you that I do have a washer and dryer because I have to brag. Living in Philly for almost the last 3 years has been so incredible, so transformative for me. And I've met some of the best people here. I've met some of my best friends. I wouldn't have it any other way. And I will really miss Philly one day. I'm reading off my list. I'm like changing content, start making video essays, because I was like, girl, I can't keep talking about myself. I cannot. My car got stolen. It's a piece of the lore. My car got stolen, and the bumper sticker on it had this stupid fucking sticker that I got from Jinxed. If you know what Jinxed is, then you know. And it said, party forever, work whenever. And I thought it was funny and cute, but it's really not funny and cute when you have to keep repeating it to insurance and the police when you have to do the police report. And then when the police call you like a month after your car is stolen and they're like, hey, is this your car? Yeah, red bumper sticker, party forever, work whenever. It's not that fun. Really dove into ERP therapy, really working on my OCD and trying to better myself. Started Chronically online girl series. In OCD therapy, I was really working on my phobia of pregnancy, which then my therapist left me for a few months because she was in fact pregnant the whole entire time. Ooh. I brought the podcast back with Jake. He held like a gun to my head and he's like, we have to start the podcast again. It ended up being in my bathtub, which I was not expecting, but we ended up doing, and I love it so much. Big things coming with the podcast, okay? And kept growing Chronically online girl, slowly getting noticed by people who I'm making videos about, such as like Jeff Wittick threatening me in my DMs. And of course, it wouldn't be a Chronically online girl video if there was no Trisha Paytas. I can't believe I'm saying this, but recently, Trisha Paytas following me and then DMing me, you are the fiercest. Life is so full circle and it scares me so goddamn bad. I literally scammed my way here. Like there's no reason for Trisha Paytas to be DMing me saying I am the fiercest. I scammed my way to here. I'm not, oh my God. Call it imposter syndrome, call it what you want. At the end of the day, I am a scammer. Manifester, striver, miracle aligner, what fucking have you. If I want something, I'm gonna get it. What if I was like, I'm done making videos. Like this is my last video ever. Bye. I can't express how grateful I am for everything that you guys have done for me in terms of my life. Like my life would not be what it is today for not your support. And I can't wait for my crazy ass fun lore to keep going. I really do take it seriously, but I do feel like my life could end at any point. And so I am here to have fun. I'm literally here to make a change in any way that I possibly can and participate in change, whether that is, you know, destigmatizing OCD and making you guys feel more comfortable with that, Craze for Palestine, talking about domestic abuse, what the fuck have you. Whatever it may be, these things are all so important for me, and without you guys I wouldn't have the platform to talk about it. Oh my God, I talked to like an elementary school about like me being a YouTuber. That's insane. Nobody has any idea how grateful I am. Seriously, I have not been able to shed a single tear, and I want to so bad, believe me. Spiritually, I am crying. I just physically can't. Thank you so much. I really do mean it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure that you leave it a like because it helps me out so much. Also leave a comment. Any lore that I may have slipped in the last few years in my videos that I may have left out that you feel is important. Make sure you subscribe if you want to be nasty. If not, you're disgusting. Also make sure you have your bell notifications on so you know every single time I post or else you are gross. I have a podcast that comes out every other Monday. And if you want to follow me on my other social media, Instagram, Twitter, Depop, Spotify, it's just at Nicole Rafiee. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, it's at Nikki Nasty. Thank you, FouseyTube Nicole, for being obsessed with YouTube. Thank you, little baby Nicole. Thank you for the people in my life for supporting me. Thanks for little Miss Clem. Thanks for Prince for... I almost said thanks Prince for dying. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant at all. Thank you so much Chipotle for paying for partially for my tuition. I wish there was like more significant lore behind the whole like me crying picture. I just was on steroids for a little bit because I had an allergic reaction. And I just cried. I wish it was more interesting. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I've always wanted to do this.